These are the snowflake ornaments I made and how I quickly made them. Starting the video with a quick sped up version of how I made them in Blender. Blender? I hardly know her. Anyways, so I started with a plane and then used the modifier mirror to mirror it across one of the axes. And then I basically spun it around the center and attached a little ring at the top to allow for the ribbon to, or like a hook to hold it. Here's a quick time lapse of my printer printing them. Now for a more in-depth tutorial for those who want to try to recreate this. Start with a empty canvas, so to say. Shift A, add a plane. Then use S to scale. Press X so that the scaling only applies in the X-axis. And then move it up to the top using G. And press Y so that the move only applies in the Y-axis. Then go into edit mode by pressing Tab. Press Control R to make the cut you just saw. Select the two left vertices and delete them so we only have material on one side of the axis. Then we're going to head over to the right side, press the properties denoted by the wrench. Click Add Modifier and Mirror. It's going to be mirrored along the x-axis. Make sure you have your object selected. Then do the same thing with Control R to make cuts in pairs of two. However you want to do this, play around with it, figure out which geometry you like for the snowflake. Then once you have the ones that you want, you're going to select the outer two vertices of each one, press E to extrude, and extrude them however you want. This will be one segment / prong of your snowflake. What you can do too is select the top two vertices, press R to rotate. Just makes the ends look nicer in my opinion. Next we're going to go out of edit mode, so press Tab. It should look like this. And then we're going to add Shift A. We're going to add a empty object, a plain axis. Then we're going to go back to the object we made, add another modifier, the array modifier. Something we have to do here is go to Object, Apply All Transforms. This just fixes an issue where as soon as you would select the empty object, it would just make a big blob. So in your array modifier, you're going to want to change it to Object Offset. Select the eyedropper and click on the empty object. Then you can choose how many times you want it offsetted. Press your empty object and press R, and then you can rotate it. So see, I originally did 4 here. Wasn't really liking how it looked, so decided to up it to 6 rotations. And then for an even rotation, what I did was just, instead of using R, I clicked on the empty object and then went to the Z rotation, as you can see here, and did 360 divided by the number of segments I had, and that will perfectly space it out, like so. So this is I'm going to click Merge, just so all the segments merge into each other. To apply the modifiers we made, make sure you're out of edit mode and press Control A on each of them with the object selected. This makes it so that you can see all of these vertices across the whole snowflake now, instead of just the one side that was mirrored and then rotated. What I'm doing here is going to each of places where there's kind of a few small gaps or where there's just a lot of vertices and kind of complex geometry and simplifying it by merging certain vertices. I do this by pressing or selecting both of them and pressing M, and then you can choose where you want to merge them. So once you're kind of satisfied with the shape here, you're going to add a circle, Shift A to add, and then from here, scale it and move it up to the top. Pick whatever size you want. And then to make it into the ring, you're going to press E to extrude and then press S, and that makes it so it extrudes along its radius. And then what I'm doing here is just some simplification of the vertices up top here so that it would be easier or cause less issues when I was trying to 3D print it. If you're not going to 3D print it, I don't think this is completely necessary. Here what I'm doing is just adding another cut using Control R so I have something to bind the bottom vertices to. Once you're done with that, select both of the objects and do Control J to join them together, make them one object. And then rotate the camera around, select the object, now one object because you joined them, move it down a little bit, and then press E to extrude along the Z-axis. And that will give thickness to your snowflake, and there you're pretty much done.